Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about Next.js. I'm currently working on my personal website and trying to migrate all pages router pages to the app router. And I encountered something that I thought I'm going to share with you today here. Right now you can see that I've got my writings page here and it's fully implemented in the pages router, in the app router, but there's one piece missing. If you go back to the production side, you can see if I type in here, I can filter it, and this is all happening on the client side, and I want to bring this over to the app router as well. So full disclaimer, I'm doing this for the first time, so I might be wrong, but I think the most straightforward approach here would be, because we are fetching all the posts in here already, we would pass them in to a client-side component, which would be possibly all of this. And that client component would then hold the state of a search term, do the search, like similar to what we do on the pages router, like have a filtered list, have a search term, and then basically based on the search term filter the list. But I want to take a different approach, and this is mainly around using query params. So one major flaw of my current production site is, as you can already see here, if I have something like review in the search like URL, I want this to show up here, and I want review to already happen, because that way I could share this to other people and be like, hey, have a look at this, here's the list. And it's not there. And I'm going to take this as an opportunity to basically implement that. And the good thing is, like Next.js, the router page, comes in with search params already. So search params that we can use. Let me have a look at the types around that. I think I've opened that somewhere here. So it's search params that we can copy over. And now we can do like search params.q and then to string to make it a string. And this should now filter things. So if we do something like review, it's going to filter the list. Why is this working? Because this get filtered post, this get filtered post is actually filtering based on the string that we passed in. And before we were passing in empty string to find everything. And now we basically pass in what's coming in from the query string. So what happens if we don't have anything here? It's still working. And if we have a empty one, it's still working. So all good. Next step, what we need to do is we need to basically have our search component here, right? This part still has to be client side because we will need some hooks, but this is what I'm imagining to happen. I think we have some styling in here as well that we can copy over, but basically this text field I want to have in a client-side component. So let's create that component. Components search .tsx, and then export cons search. It's a React functional component taking the component props of an input, because the text field is basically a styled input. So we will return this text field, but there's one major difference. Like this won't be a first of all, we need to also pass in the props here. So we've got props. So this text field won't rely on a use state variable anymore, but instead we will use the search params directly. So there is a nice set of hooks that we can use to fetch the search params. So use search params, and then I think the other one was called first of all, we also need the router. Use router. Let me explain this in a second. And I think that's it for now. So what do we want to do? So on change of this field, yeah, we want to update the search params based on the input value. So we've got the event and we want to handle or update search params, and based on that update, so we take this value in here, and what this is supposed to do is this is going to term, it's the string, and this update search params will basically set this query here, or if it's empty, delete it or whatever. So when we update this on the page, this will get updated, and then the server component or this page updates all together. This is what I'm thinking. So, and I am pretty confident that this is going to work. So let's start. What do we have here? So the first thing we need to do is, if there's two cases. First of all, if term is, or even the trimmed version of the term is empty, we want to unset this thing. So let me do params equals URL search params. URL search params basically make working with search params so much easier. And why is that? This has to be new, and this can also be an empty object if nothing is there. Awesome. So because this can be null. So we have now our params, and if the term is empty, what we want to do is we want to delete our field q, and then we return early. If it's not the case, what we want to do is we want to set the value. Oh, we don't want to return early because we also need to, so let's do this. If it's not empty, we want to basically take our term and set the value for it. So let's have a look. We've got our params, we've updated it now, and then now what we need to do is router.replace, because we don't want to update or push to the history, so we do router.replace, and then we need another helper here. Path name has another helper, so I use path name, and then we can do something like path name slash, and then our params to string. This will now take our current search terms If the term is empty, delete the query bit. If not, set it so that it's updated, and then replace the router. And this now again will take in, will trigger this to reload, and then we should basically have our filter implemented. So let's have a look. Let me import this, and then file to compile. Oh yeah, of course, we need to also annotate that this is a client component. So use router, next router was not mounted. Oh, you have to be careful. This needs to be the router from the next navigation, because this is for the pages router and we need to use the other one. So there we go. Now everything is working, and if I make a change here, this should be triggering, this should update the query, and we should be filtering. So, okay, why is this not working? Because this needs to be a question mark and not a slash, of course. Let me quickly change this, refresh, and we are filtering. Nice. So I think one thing that's going to miss here is if I click refresh, yeah, this is empty because I haven't set the default value of my search term here. Because we are passing in the props here and it accepts everything of a input basically. What I can do is basically what I'm passing in here, I'm also rendering in here. There we go. So if I B1, and this is doing the whole thing, and if I update this, there you go. Yeah, this is basically it. This is what I wanted to show you, and I think this might be a straightforward solution, but it took me a while to get to this point, so I thought I might be sharing it. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments. I'm happy to go through any of them as much as I can help out. And if you're interested in the code, I will basically commit this in a bit, merge it and push to master. And you should be able to see the code, and I will see the code on GitHub because this is a public repo. I will leave the link in the comment in the description, and you can take it from there. See you.